Okay, season opener, what are you looking for? What's a couple, 2 or 3 things you want to see your team do tomorrow night?
Well, I think where we got to be better, just details. There's no question we've got to rebound the ball better. We've got to do a much, much better job on free throw blockouts. Little detailed things that most people might not pay attention to. Delivering the ball, better passes, taking care of the ball better. There's more than 2 or 3. There's a number of details that we've got to get better with. Defensively, we've got to do a better job guarding the basketball. And I still think we've got to do a better job helping each other to do that. So there's a lot of different things that we've talked about since our scrimmage and then the game the other night, and I'd like to see us carry over some of those things.
Do you know what your rotation is going to look like yet, or is it going to be in a few weeks?
I don't yet. I really don't. The fact that we'll wait and see as it goes, and I haven't heard yet about Drew. I don't know if he's going to be able to work today. If not, it'll be hard for him to play. But until we get everybody totally healthy, it's pretty hard to settle in on that.
Coach, your reaction to the Plavsic deal, and are there any more avenues that you are considering?
Well, I think we're all disappointed because Urosh is a wonderful kid, and he's been really patient with it. But there is another avenue that we're exploring that we're able. We have some appeals that we can do. So we do have an appeal left, and I've got full confidence that Coach Fulmer and our compliance people are going to do everything they can. I know he's already made his statement about it. We're all disappointed and somewhat surprised, to be quite frank, and so we'll see where it goes, and hopefully it can get rectified quickly.
To what you know, is this appeal that you're talking about different from a second appeal after like the first denial?
It is. Well, it is. You can have there's an appeal. There's really the 3 processes you can go through, and you can skip a process and come back to it if you want to do that, and that's kind of the route that we did, and so, with that said, again, I think that everybody's doing everything they can because of anyone. I certainly think that what he's gone through, he deserves a chance to play basketball, and I hope that it works out.
Coach, do you know if there's any sort of history or track record of that appeal that you guys are going through, that there being success doing that?
Yeah, I think there's been we don't go back and look at that, but it's in place for situations like this because they again, when you go through these processes, you see some people getting clear, some people not, and sometimes, to be quite frank, you don't understand some of them, and other ones, when they get denied, we're shocked by it, to be quite frank. If there's anybody that you would think that, because Urosh has done nothing wrong. He's done everything that he was told to do, being a foreign student, coming into a foreign country and going about things. He only knew what he knew by, who he listened to. That's all he knew. And so that's the tough part for him because I promise you in his mind, he hasn't done anything wrong. And I like to think that when it's all said and done, if you're talking to a group of peers that they have a understanding that, and again, I don't think you can compare every case. I think every case has got to be looked at independently. I don't think precedent should have to be set. I think you look at each one and you just do the right thing.
Do they give you when they give you a denial like that, do they say you got denied because of this reason, or do they just give you kind of a flat denial?
Again, there's the first part you go through. I understand there's 4 or 5 boxes that you have to fit in that automatically will determine if you have a waiver, and if not, then there's an appeal process, and where you can show more information, or then it goes before a committee of peers, and no one's told me yet, but I do think that when it's all said and done, that we should know exactly why. And again, I have great confidence in our compliance people and what they're doing, and Coach Fulmer's been on top of it as well, and so we'll see, but it's not over yet, and when it's over, I'd like to know if it's not in the favor that we want. I do think that whether I do, Urosh deserves that answer. He does, more than anybody, he deserves it.
How much of a role does the first school play in this?
The first school has a lot to do with it. The first school can help a lot if they want to in terms of how they say things went and exited, and it's real simple out there. If the school, that when someone leaves, simply says there was not a spot on the roster, that person is going to be deemed automatically eligible at the next place he goes. And but then you get into the part where people say, does that mean you're running off guys? And that's not necessarily the same thing. But the ones that I know that have been able to get cleared immediately are where the school that they're leaving from fully cooperates to get that person eligible. Because I think that in situations that we've been involved in, I felt like it was important that that person gets a chance to go and play right away, because I'm not sure sitting out helps anybody.
Is there generally any communication between the first school and the second school?
Yes, yeah, there is, and again, because they do work together. I mean, the NCAA is going to, when we put in the paperwork we need to put in, the other school obviously has a chance to respond to it, and so yeah, there's communication.
Coach, how ready is Devontae with the thumb? Is he
Yeah,
ready to
I
play?
think he's ready. He's still wearing that cast. I'm not sure when it comes off. I think it's still a week or so away from it coming off, but he says he's gotten used to it, and it doesn't bother him that much.
You're already in a position where you're having to replace a lot of guys from last year's front court. Now your situation was at least temporarily without Euro. How do you feel about your options in the front court right now?
Well, you know what? You've got to go with what you have, and you got to find a way to. It's up to us as coaches to put guys in positions that they can be successful, and we're not afraid to size down and play with what would probably look like a all-guard lineup. We're not afraid to do that either, and we'll do whatever we have to do to whatever the situation calls for. But again, you have to play with what you've got.
Kind of like on that topic, how beneficial is it that Eves and Josiah both look like guys that are capable of guarding multiple positions?
Well, they can, and I mean, I think Eve Pons can guard 5 positions as well as anybody in the country. I really believe that, and Josiah's length is going to, and size will help do that. But yeah, that one thing about it, if you go that route, they've got to guard you on the other end too, and so it works both ways. But we would obviously have to help each other a lot in that situation, and rebounding will become paramount, that we make sure that we're not giving up a lot on the glass.
Do you like what you got out of Zach Kent the other night?
I do. I think Zach can help us. I think if he'll continue to work and improve and understand exactly what we need from him, there's no question he can help us.
How much can wingspan offset maybe regular height? Because these guys seem to have some decent wingspan for deflections, things like that.
Well, wingspan's really important. I mean, I'd rather have somebody that's got, that's got a 7'2" wingspan, and somebody that's, like, you ever been to lunch with Rob Lewis? He's got really short arms, You know what I'm saying? Real short arms. So, you can want those guys that can go deep down there. But he, it's important. I mean, I think everybody wants wingspan over height. I don't think there's any question.
Jordan has kind of shown an outgoing personality off the court, not necessarily on the court. But do you think it would benefit him to maybe show a little bit more of that on the court?
Well, since he's been here, people would tell you off the court he's the funniest guy on the team. I mean, that part of him, all of us around has seen him, because he is funny, and I think that obviously there's a side that he doesn't show a lot of people. Would it benefit him? I don't know. I don't know how much it would relate to basketball, but the fact is, everyone knows he's funny, and he's a guy that everybody loves because of who he is. Again, he's one of those guys that very seldom has a bad day, and somebody that you pretty much know every day what you're going to get.
2 more?
What does Asheville bring to the table?
Well, they're a different team than a year ago. Coach Morrell's done a good job of going in and having to get his guys in place from a year ago, and they've got much. Will be a much different team. I think they'll play different than he played a year ago. We certainly expect that, and he's been around the game a long time. He knows how he wants to play, and I think he's been able to get more guys like he wants to help him fit into the style where, again, probably up tempo, look to press and trap and those type things. And then a year ago, they were predominantly a zone team, but I'm sure they still have some of that in their repertoire as well. So we have to be prepared for a number of different things.
In terms of, you coached a number of freshmen over the years. Some have kind of been instant impact guys. Some have needed 2 or 3 years to really kind of blossom. What, if any, expectations do you have of this crop of newcomers coming into the season? Are they kind of all over the place, or different with different guys, or what kind of sense do you have of them?
I don't think they're any different than when you go back to when Grant Williams was a freshman, and John Fulkerson and Jordan Bone, I mean, our expectations are always high, but are they all over the place? Yes. Are they all different? Yes. And what you have to do is every day, and that's where I give a great deal of credit to our staff. I think they work really hard, trying to spend a lot of time with guys away from the court to try to teach them not just the physical side of it, but the mental side that comes with it. And that's probably I mean, there's a lot of things you have to adjust to: the speed of the game, the quickness, how it's quicker, but also the mental side, how you've got to be able to pick up things quicker on the fly, and adjustments that have to be made on the fly sometimes. But we throw a lot at them, and we expect them to pick it up. And some days we have to create some chaos with them to let them know it's not going to always be comfortable. And so there's a lot with a freshman group that you coach different than you do older guys.
How would a guy like Rob Lewis make up for his lack of wingspan?
Well, one, we all know he makes a lot of money, so he should just walk into the restaurant right off the bat and lay the credit card down and say, "It's on me, guys," which he has never done. Believe me. Has he done it for you?
Not yet.
I told Hubs I was going to UCLA last year, and I didn't get the same kind of bump